Yes, and it's roller derby. Conroe Roller Derby is a non-profit recreational league of women and men who want you to come and check out the fast-paced, hard-hitting game of roller derby. The Conroe Cutthroats practice at Rainbow Roller Rink on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. You can find our game schedule and more information on our website, www.conroerollerderby.com.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCCLP Conroe and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
All right. You listen to Lone Star Community Radio, irlonestar.com. And Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, broadcasting live on Mornings with Lone Star on Facebook and YouTube. Feel free to join in and chat in. We're going to be here till 11 o'clock today. It is May 1st.
May
so
Day.
Happy May Day. It's big first day of the month. We're excited about it. And we got a wonderful guest coming up here very shortly, returning guest. If you didn't know, the Montgomery County Crime Stoppers changed their name to Multi-County Crime Stoppers because they want to help out more than just us in the Montgomery County area.
That's very sweet and giving.
So we have Garry in the studio. We'll learn a lot about that and about a fundraiser they're doing, trying to help kids in the school system and being safe, especially these barricades. I think we want to get one for the studio just to mess around with people. But right now, let's do some weather and traffic. Actually, no traffic because it's really bad.
45
lockdown.
southbound. Yeah. It's
where is it between? Is it like
it was near the north of 242, but south of like the Crichton Road exit.
Yeah.
Bad. I was heading northbound. It was gridlocked for miles.
Oh, was it bad?
Trucks. Yes, it was bad. Very bad.
So there you go. There's your traffic report.
It was bad. 45 traffic bad.
78 degrees outside right now, folks. High of 87. We're hitting it. We're going that way towards the Texas summer. And then a low of 71 with winds up to 14 miles an hour. Looking out downtown, it seems to be nice and cool. It looks cool outside. So good thing we're not out there yet. But
thunderstorms on the horizon for tonight, too.
Yes, thunderstorms like throughout the week. Mm-hmm. So, and then that's what's happening right now. Let's do special thanks to our partners. We have BeanPunk Coffee in Montgomery County. They have two locations. One's in downtown Conroe, Texas, right across from the courthouse, and the other one is located in Montgomery. Stoppers in the studio. Larry Gatlin for a special price, but Larry's also going to be in the studio talking about the multi-county. Was in the studio and goes word.
Well, yeah, to keep the children in classrooms protected.
I'll pull it up for folks who have
by-
no
It's
idea
from
what we're
keeping
talking
an
about.
intruder from coming in the room.
Right, and it's set up wonderfully. It's basically a doorstop on steroids. That it's more than just a wedge you stick under the door. This is something that first responders can get around to provide protection. It's really set up, and we have thousands of classrooms in the multi-county area. Now, these are only like $50 each, right?
That's correct. So if anybody's listening on the radio and they want to look this up, it's spelled B-E-A-R, barricades, B-A-R-A-C-A-D-E, and you'll see a video of how it works.
Yeah, Dick's putting that
I'm
up.
putting it up right now, actually.
So if someone has
Look at that.
a cool 5Gs floating around that they can part with, get hold of us. We'll pass you on to Garry. And not only can you get some amazing, because the price, if I had $5,000 to blow, I'd blow it on that because, to meet the Gatlins, to get the guitar, to get the reception, it's a great deal for
well,
it.
actually, if my math serves me correctly,
You would be able to buy
let's
100.
see. 100?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you'd buy 100 barricades for, you'd protect 100 classrooms worth of kids, which is, what do we got, like 30 in a classroom? It's 3,000.
Well, no telling how horrible the school system is.
Yeah.
Depends. We have 100 kids in the classroom.
Basically, you could save 3,000 children, almost basically $1.50 that you spend.
I can't believe we were putting a price on children.
Yeah,
here.
you're saving a
We're getting
life.
dark.
For every
We're getting
$1.50
dark.
you spend, you're saving a child's life.
Well, I think that's really important too, Garry, to tell the audience this whole thing this weekend is primarily for the barricade system.
That's correct. That's where all the proceeds are going.
All the proceeds are going. So this barricade system, from last time you guys were talking, is they're trying to get it. We're multi-county Crime Stoppers trying to get a barricade in every school system or every school here in Montgomery County and the surrounding counties.
That's correct.
So, and when people say multi-county Crime Stoppers, who are we talking about? We're talking about Montgomery County. Who else we got?
Liberty County.
Liberty County.
And San Jacinto County.
Okay, so if folks, if they want to visit them online, it's montgomerycountycrimestoppers.org, but it talks about the multi-crime stopper. When did they change the name?
I'm not sure. About 5 or 6 years ago, I believe.
Oh, is it that long ago? Okay.
Well, it's kind of funny because it makes sense to do that because the origin of the Crime Stoppers is they need people to call in, and crime doesn't stop at the border, as we all know that. So it moves across the borders. So people who need to call in, it'd be nice to help out Liberty County, which is our neighbor.
Right.
And then is San Jacinto County, is that our direct neighbor?
Well, because also, yeah, you're right. It doesn't stop at the border. Someone can do something bad and just.
You thought I was
hop
trying to
over.
You thought I was trying to make a political statement.
No, I was.
You
That
smiled.
was deep. That was deep coming from Dick
So,
Pre-Taco.
am I right about that, Gary?
That's correct.
All right,
And
good.
if you're not coming to the show, the street's going to be closed off in front of the theater with law enforcement equipment like the SWAT truck. It's going to have the K9 dog out there. And there'll also be a drawing for a guitar signed by the Gatlins. You don't have to buy anything. Just come by, say hello, show your support for the barricade program, Crime Stoppers. Love to have everybody out here today.
Now,
Saturday.
if folks can't make it to the downtown event, people could still buy barricades support you guys.
That's correct. If you go to the homepage, multicountycrimestoppers.org, on the homepage, there's a place where you can sponsor a barricade,
Yeah, I can
1
see
to
it.
10 barricades
That's
at
cool.
$50 a piece.
That is way cool. So, as he said, even if you can't make it inside the Crichton, outside, there's a lot of fun stuff going on, as well as a significant police presence along with drug sniffing canine dogs. So, if you're of that mindset, you may want to not show up. But if you are a legal person, come on down to the Crichton Theater. If you're not afraid of what a dog might sniff out on you, then come on down and partake of this. Seriously,
I'd be sure my pockets are empty before I came down here.
yeah, I'm not holding anyone else's jacket on this one. I am so gonna be careful. But all that being said, $50 for each classroom, each door
not bad.
going in. And remember, some classrooms have more than one door, and because Gary, a lot of it's like the weather. A lot of people complain about it, but very few people do something. And every time there's a tragedy in a school like this, there's a lot of and people don't know what to argue for. Guns, no guns, teachers, aren't the teachers? No, but this is it's simple, it's tangible, and it's immediate. It's not like we got to put this through a school committee and it's going to go next year or install metal detectors. This could get purchased and 12 minutes later it can be implemented.
Well, once somebody enters the building, they set an alarm that there's an intruder in there. This can be set in less than 5 seconds.
Right.
A student can set it, a teacher can set it. It's that simple to work. You slide underneath the door, you set the pin, a hose already drilled on the floor, and it's over. And on the outside door, you'll be at the law enforcement officer who will know that door has been set.
Now, remind us, we're going back to Gatlin here. You're the one that secured Gatlin, right? Because you love to drop the names off the air. He's
Gary
talking
will
about,
continuously surprise you about the people he knows and what he can accomplish when it comes to fundraising.
Well, I've known Larry's for a long time. We're at the University of Houston at the same time together. Been on the board of Houston Rodeo for 29 years, and he entertained there many times. And no matter where they are, they have great songs. They put on a great show. They've had 8 number 1 records. They've had 30 songs. They've been in the top 40, and every one has been written by Larry Gatlin.
and see, so Gary Plotkin, man, he uses his powers for good because, he's like, yeah, I know the Gatlins, or, off the air he's talking, oh, yeah, I was chatting with Mickey the other day. Mickey Gilly, Mickey? Yeah. He's using it for good. If I had ends like that, I'd use it to get out of traffic tickets or something like that. But he's using it to raise,
Isn't that what that Patriots owner did?
Well,
The what?
The Patriots owner. Didn't that video finally come out where he got pulled over and he's like, "Yeah, you like the Patriots?" And he has his ring and stuff. Why not?
But so that's awesome that, Gary, you are using your powers for the forces of good
Yeah.
here to save
Well, I'll
these people.
say when I went to University of Houston, I worked my way through school because we didn't have a lot of money. I worked at a place in the Heights called Harold's Menswear.
Yeah, I remember Harold's.
And I met a lot of
Right there
celebrities.
on 19th Street, right?
Exactly,
Yep.
19th and Ashland. I met a lot of celebrities there. As I said, I've been on the board of rodeo for a long time. I've met a lot of celebrities there. And my life in the last 30 years have been full of helping law enforcement agencies. I was on the board of 100 Club 18 years. I did many law enforcement fundraisers for them.
Mm-hmm.
And this is my pleasure. It's a way to give back.
Well, it's awesome. And again, people, this is a tangible thing. This is not something that's going to get lost in the shuffle or where's my money going to, where are my taxes going to. This is, you can actually almost like sponsor a particular barricade, and maybe add an extra $10 to it, and maybe they'll put your name on it. The Skippy Thompson official barricade for Cox Intermediate School. I don't know.
Sounds like you want to hear a Larry Gatlin story, so I'll tell you one. And that was many years ago.
That's it. Lay it on us, Gary.
When they used to entertain at the rodeo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Most of the entertainers used to come up to the sky boxes
Yep.
and walk around. And that's what people used to buy skybox. They only had about a fourth of them sold. So they called down there and asked Larry Gatlin if he would come up. But he sort of explained that they were busy, but, maybe next year if they're invited back, they'll come up. So I finally got the phone number, called down there and talked to him, asked him to come up. I had some friends who want to meet him. And you're not going to believe this, but Larry and Rudy showed up about 20 minutes later and stayed up there for about 30 minutes and visit during the first part of the rodeo. So
That's nice.
He's just that type of person. He's down to earth.
He sounds it. I've never had the pleasure of meeting the man, but all indications are this is like, I say this in the way it's meant to be said, a man's man. He's good. He believes in stuff. He's a good egg, I think, as my grandpa would say.
They're church people. They grew up singing gospel music. That's how they grew up when they were 10 years old.
Really? Yeah. See, I'm woefully don't know enough about the Gatlin, so that's how they started, huh?
Right. And I say about 2 or 3 months ago, I was watching Handy on TV, and the Gatlins were on there.
Okay.
And on the front row was their 92-year-old father. And they called their father up there, and all four of them sang gospel song together.
Oh wow! I bet that's something you can go to YouTube and probably check that out. That'd be great hearing that.
So it just shows a family still together. They're down, simple people, and still love gospel music and still love the church.
And this is, Larry Gatlin is a man who could sell out something like Reliant Field or something big. And
Reliant Field?
or what? Where the
I was
Texans
kidding,
play.
I'm kidding.
That one.
I'm giving you a hard time.
Minute Maid
It's a
Park, Enron
stadium.
Field.
It's a stadium.
Yeah, they could fill a stadium, no problem. And he's coming to the Crichton. Now the Crichton's not a dinky theater; it seats about 500 and something.
A little over 500 people.
Yeah, but
It's the historic Crichton.
the historic Crichton Theater. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It seats about less than 600. Gatlin could
7 seats, for short people.
right, and Gatlin can easily sell 100 times that. 60,000 seat theater, 6,000 seat venue, and so for him to come down here for this shows it's a great cause, and he's a great man doing it.
Well, Gary, thanks for coming in. Is there anything else you want to let people know? I know you're still offering $5,000, folks.
For a set of 4 seats,
for
row 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, going once.
Dick, I got like $147 on me.
No,
What do you got?
No, we got to let the big spinners get
We're
this
not
one.
taking down payments.
Yeah,
No
we're
layaway?
the big spender for the multi-county Crime Stoppers for the barricade systems. You need to check it out. What was that website for the Crime Stoppers? Is multi-county.org.
Multicountycrimestoppers.org.
And this
Okay.
is happening on Saturday, May the 4th,
Yeah.
so you got only a few days left at the historic
Yeah, thank
Crichton
you. Thank you.
Theater on Main Street.
We got to promote that right.
If not, come on down for the street activities.
Yeah.
Register for a guitar signed by the Gatlins.
Don't be startled. No
Be
one's
great
getting arrested.
weather. I understand a few blocks away there's a car show. So you
Oh,
might want to come down
yeah.
for that also.
That's right.
At the same time.
That's who we had on yesterday.
Okay.
The Golo All Ford show. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just a couple blocks away from here.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's going to be hardcore.
So cool.
Meanwhile, less exciting than that, all day Saturday over at the Owen, we'll be
don't care about
building set.
All right. Gary, thank you so much for coming
Thanks so
in.
much for being here, man.
Thanks
doing
for having us.
doing so much for the community and things like that. We really do appreciate it. And whenever you have an upcoming event, you know who to call to promote it. And again, folks, if you missed out on Larry Gatlin this weekend, there's still ways to help the multi-county Crime Stoppers with their barricade system. $50 will get you a barricade for a classroom in the multi-county area. And so support your local education system. So that's a good way to keep them safe. Listen to Lone Star Community Radio at Mornings with Lone Star, IRLoneStar.com. We'll be right back.
Montgomery County area from Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. With scheduled cleaning services such as floor care, window care, trash collection, restroom disinfection, and stair and elevator cleaning, Clean Sweep can service a business one time or on a regular schedule with daily, weekly, and monthly options. Clean Sweep Office Cleaning can be found online at cleansweepofficecleaning.com or by calling 832-689-7996. Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. Take back your time and let us make your office shine. Mornings with Lone Star is sponsored by Clean Sweep Office Cleaning.
A Lone Star Community Radio is Montgomery County's radio station with talk, music, weather, and traffic for Montgomery County. Have a question or comment about one of our shows? Want to know how to reach a host? Just contact the station at irlonestar.com or call in and leave a message at 936-647-3776. Get involved with your community with Lone Star Community Radio.
Are you one of those who feel that life is too short to drink bad coffee? Then come to BeanPunk Coffee. BeanPunk Coffee is open with 2 locations. Whether you're in downtown Conroe or historic Montgomery, we have the best fresh brewed and specialty coffee, delicious pastries, and courteous staff. Come visit us at 330 North Main Street in Conroe or 401 College Street, Suite 170 in Montgomery. Visit beanpunkcoffee.com to see our complete list of special events.
Statistics show that 1 out of every 6 Texans struggles with food insecurity and hunger. And many people don't eat enough fruits and vegetables every day. The Better Living for Texans program is here to help you learn how to make healthy menu choices, save money at the grocery store, prepare quick and delicious meals, get more good nutrition in your day, and get more physical activity. Classes are fun, friendly, interactive, and free, and taught in English and Spanish. We are Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, helping Texans make their lives better.
Listen in Mondays at noon to hear Conroe news from local nonprofits, businesses, upcoming events, Conroe Park events, news stories, and information that matters to you with your host, Margie Taylor of Taylorized PR. For more information about being a guest, visit irlonestar.com/Conroe Culture.
Did you know that there are over 153 million orphans in the world today? The sad reality is 99% of those kids will likely never be adopted. Core Love is an organization right here in Conroe that takes care of orphan children in Haiti, Honduras, and India. We bring the love of Jesus by providing their 6 basic needs of clean water, proper food, healthcare, education, job skills, and a loving home. Visit corelove.org, that's CORELUV.org. Will you help defend the orphan?
Hey, Montgomery County and online listeners. Thank you so very much for checking out Jazzy Vibes with Soul. What? You haven't done so yet? Well, you've got to tune in. Hi, I am the host of Jazzy Vibes with Soul, Miss CeCe Holmes, and I invite you to check us out every Friday and Saturday from 7 until 9 p.m., where you will get the best in old school R&B, and of course, a little smooth jazz to make it jazzy. So tune in. That's right, tune in every Friday and Saturday right here on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM, or worldwide at irlonestar.com.
All right, we're back on Mornings with Lone Star, irlonestar.com. Special thanks to Garry coming in, talking about
Garry Plotkin.
Talking about the Multi-County Crime Stoppers fundraiser for the barricade system in our local schools here, and the Larry Gatlin performance still going on. That $5,000 for tickets still up for grabs. That's a donation to Montgomery County Crime Stoppers and the Multi-County Crime Stoppers for the barricade system. So if you did miss that, don't forget, you can rewind us on YouTube and Facebook, and then later on our podcast will be available. I think that's a perfect time to transition to explain to folks who are listening what we're going to be doing with the show. Because I know you were gone forever. You were, up in Aspen skiing.
I'm better in small doses.
Doing whatever you're doing.
Getting sunburned in Albuquerque.
Yeah. That's in New Mexico, right?
That is.
That's cool. Okay. But what we're going to be trying to do with the show is one thing that Sean and I kind of talked about was a lot of people who be guests on the show feel they have to leave within 5 minutes with their promotion and things. So what we're going to do is we're going to do more interview-driven segments on the show. So we're going to do an hour increments. So, for example, we weren't here from 9 to 10, but from 10 to 11 we were here. And so what we're going to try to do is when people book and want to be on the show, we're going to try to give them as much time in that hour as possible, and those are going to be by episodes. So if you're a big fan of the show, we're going to try to put it in segments, not dates. So if that makes sense, more of a podcast feel than a live. We're still going to broadcast it live no matter what, and it's going to be either at the 9 o'clock slot or the 10 o'clock slot, or both.
Right. And so it's almost like podcast plus, because I got to say I'm a recent convert to podcasts. That's all I play in the car now. Is my phone is set. I went through 6 seasons of West Wing podcast. Now I've caught up to where it's a week, about a weekly thing, and now I'm on to a Battlestar Galactica podcast.
There's a lot of one thing I want to try to accomplish.
I got 3,000 episodes of Joe Rogan on standby.
What I want to try to accomplish is more information for our listeners about what's going on in the county, and it's really hard for us to produce 3 different types of shows because we're doing interviews, we're doing off the cuff, and then we're trying to do events. And so when we're chatting about it, I go, man, we really need to focus on one, and then hopefully the residual will be a second one that we could focus on events or something. That way we're not sitting there trying to juggle 9 things on us while we're live, while we're doing things. And so we're going to be strictly booked for guests. So when we're live, we're only going to have guests on. And one thing we're going to do our best is keeping our Facebook calendar up and things like that. So if you're interested in booking a time slot on the morning show, just let us know. You can email us at mwls@irlonestar.com. Best place is irlonestar.com/mwls. And then our sponsorships means we're changing the way we do our sponsorships because now we're doing it by episode, not by broadcast. So that's really going to change the way. It's really affordable for folks, and it's good forever. So there you go. There's our little spiel about what's going on with the show. And hopefully it works for the better because I want to be better prepared and produce a better show.
Well, we're wanting to really engage and be engaging. And like I said, a lot of podcasts, as just a straight podcast, it's nice because you get it per episode, something to look forward to. It's not there. You don't get it every day necessarily. Yeah. And same thing with us. On top of that, it's live, so we still enjoy all the aspects of the live.
We need to get Garry back in just to talk about Garry.
Garry, man, I love Garry. He'll just I knew this person. I went to school with that person. It was I believe.
You think he's ever been arrested?
Garry?
Yeah.
Probably, but he's like, yeah, I know Judge Roy Bean. Let me go.
No, I'm just kidding with you, Garry. That's pretty funny though. It's cool who I met the other day. We were gone. I met the president of St. Thomas University. He was strolling around with the city council people because the St. Thomas University announced they're going to be opening a 4-year nursing degree in the area.
Right. Now, Barry, remember, it's University of St. Thomas. It's my alma mater. It's St. Thomas University.
Whatever.
It's UST, not STU.
Okay. Sorry.
It's my alma mater,
to offend
man.
you.
Get it right.
You know what? I didn't take offense where my grandfather kept calling Abilene Christian University ACC. I'm like, yeah, whatever.
But that's like saying I'm going to Texas M&A.
Yeah, whatever.
You don't do it. You're saying that. Get it right, buddy. But cool, yeah. It's when I first went to University of St. Thomas in 1982, they had a nursing program that unfortunately went away. So I am so ecstatic that not only is the nursing program coming back, but up here in this area.
Holly was explaining to me that the nursing field is one of the last remaining fields where there's so many entry points. So it's not dedicated to the standard, to get a CPA, you have to have 4-year degree, you have to do all this stuff. It's like, no, if you want to do a 2-year trade for LVN, you can do that, and then you just keep going. And so it's a very appealing field for people who don't know where to start and who don't have the opportunity or, say, the scholarships to go to a 4-year degree, who have the time to go to a 4-year degree. Because, that's one of the most amazing things when I meet Holly's workmates and bosses and things. Like, they come from all over the world. And it's not. I never met anybody in a field that has that kind of opportunity to work with different people from, especially like where she works. There's a lot of South American folks and South Islander folks. I don't know if that's the correct way to say it, but like the South Islands, like a bunch of nurses. And somehow there was a big wave. She was explaining to me like when Cuba, like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, big wave of Cuban nurses and and big wave from Haiti and stuff like that. And so it's really interesting because people come to Texas because we're at that border, and there's a way to land and sea to get here, and that's really cool. I really like that because Houston was announced the most diverse city in the United States.
I believe that.
And I was like, I do believe that.
Well,
And
look at Bel Air. I mean, the street signs are bilingual but Vietnamese, and then we have areas of town bilingual Hispanic, and it used to be kind of, the Fourth Ward was different from the West Side, was different from this, but the melting pot, I think if you want a decent taste of America in general.
Well, it's really neat to see the architecture being influeed by the multi-generations now, especially in the Houston area. Like if you go over by Gessner and I-10 area, North I-10, Gessner, you start seeing a huge Korean influence, multi-generational. You'll start seeing buildings being built right now that are owned by a Korean family that been here for 2 generations, and you can see the designs being implemented from their culture. And I was like, now is the time it's happening.
Yeah.
Because I sent you that documentary about the donut shops in Houston, right? The Colombian donut shops.
Yes.
And so like 17 donut shops around Houston, people are wondering why all the donuts taste the same. Is because this one man, he basically was from Colombia, and he came here and goes, I need to offer opportunities to families who are refugees or they want to move to the United States, to Colombian families, and I can teach them a trade, which are donuts. And that's why all the donuts look the same, all the clot, because that's the way he teaches it. So,
but you know what? They get in my belly just fine and dandy. For sure.
But it was really interesting. So it's exciting to see that.
Yeah,
and,
very much so.
And Houston's really cool. I think the only thing I'm afraid of Houston is you never know where the bad parts are because it's just random. I know there's certain areas that like police officers, like that's one thing I would ask is like, where do you go? Because my uncle always said, don't ever be in Houston after 10 o'clock. Just don't be outside because on the road or.
Unless you're like in downtown Houston, like the central business district.
He just said, just don't do it. There's not a safe place.
Well, I think with any town, there are just some places, if you're aware of your surroundings. I remember one time, Mississippi and I were driving around Navigation Boulevard in the east side of downtown, and we're at a red light, and it was hot, and I had the windows down talking to the wife, and the lady of the night strolled up to the car, and we're talking, hey, how's it going, this and that. And my wife's like, wow, light turns green, we drive off, and she's like, wow, she was friendly. I'm like, oh, yeah, she was looking for a client.
At least she's not prejudiced against couples.
Yeah, well, right? It hit my wife. Is like, wait, that was a prostitute? I'm like, yeah. Well, and my wife was like, she just seemed so normal is how it was like, she was pleasant. We were talking. It's like, yeah, they're not going to, it's all been movieized, and if you remain aware of your surroundings and you treat people with respect.
One of the scariest moments I've had in Houston were, it's on Center Street. You know where Center Street is?
Oh, yeah.
So I used to live near the Washington Street area, and Center Street ran parallel with it.
Right.
And one night I was trying to get home, and there's train track right there. And I was like, oh, I'm going to get around. I'll just take Center Street. And I've never seen so many cars on a street with no lights. So I'm driving, and there's so many people. I was like, was there a rave? I'm talking about like 4 blocks straight. I was like trying to dodge people, and I couldn't see. There's not any lights. And I'm like, what is going on around this place? And you couldn't know. I had no idea where these people were going or where they're, leaving or what. It was kind of strange. So there must be a rave around that area that no one knows about. It's like you get a text message and you show up.
Let's go find a rave, man.
I'm telling you.
I think I've got one more good rave in me before I die.
I'm telling you.
Just one more. That's all
I'm going to listen to my uncle and just not be outside after 10 o'clock. Now here I feel a little safer outside after 10 o'clock.
Yeah. So. Again, if you're aware of your surroundings, and don't go looking for a fight, but be prepared for one.
Yeah.
Your odds of getting out alive and unscathed go up exponentially. But I'm here at night. Any bad guys listening, I'm giving you an inside track. I'm here very late at night, with rehearsals. Because even when rehearsal's over, I got to stay behind, lock up, shut down.
Do you carry a weapon on you? You don't tell
Not
anybody.
Always.
Well, I mean, your guns are always on you.
No, that's right. I brought my Smith & Wesson, my 2 guns.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, man, my camera died. Oh, man.
That happened yesterday. I was watching you guys until people started calling me. And I want to thank Rick the Reluctant Cowboy from Afternoons with Lone Star for sitting in for me for not just 1 show, but 2 shows. And he was so cool on that.
Yeah.
Nice to see he didn't screw up my show.
No.
But I hope you missed me. I hope you appreciate me more. You see other people may not have my particular twinkle and sparkle.
Did you find anything you want to talk about while you're gone? Like, I know we didn't talk politics at all for while you're gone, and I kind of appreciated that, and nothing big's coming. Nothing's going to happen
right now. Attorney General Barr is testifying about the Mueller report, and it's just people are entrenched. No one's mind is going to change on any of these things. People are just hoping that there's going to be some bombshell or slip of the tongue, one way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But a couple things that happened. A meme went around today. I just had to comment on this. That facial recognition is becoming a thing where people are tripping out. Oh my God, the government's got your face. It's the end of the world. Hello, this is called a driver's license.
Yeah,
they got your face, a passport. It's nothing new. Part of the whole Chicken Little thing about we're gonna die.
One thing that makes me wonder about that kind of paranoia is when does it become the tipping point where it becomes like a real abuse of power? Because I know, if I remember correctly, there was like in 2009 or 2011 when President Obama was president, they were caught, not him specifically, but they were caught spying like on Germany and like doing stuff that was apparently bad, but nothing happened.
Not just on Germany, the German chancellor.
And then us too, because there was a whole drone thing where people were saying, oh, their drones are above us spying on and the Patriot Act was being abused but I was like, let's say, all right, so what's the consequence of this? Because again, who watches the watchmen? We don't ever have authority over people who are supposed to give us, justice. And it's weird to me that no one really cares until there's like someone gets beheaded. I think about Venezuela right now. Like is that where we're heading towards eventually? Because there's no tipping point right now.
It depends on
I know that's drastic.
Election results.
I know that's drastic.
Well, no, think about it. Venezuela now is not what Venezuela was. And when Venezuela was what Venezuela was, no way do they think one day we're going to be without power. And that's why we shouldn't tear down monuments of people we don't like, because that's how we learn not to repeat mistakes.
Yeah.
You need a reminder that this was not a good person, this was not a good entity, this is not a good time in our life, and to erase it, and because you're offended by it, that just guarantees it's going to repeat. So I don't think we're on a slippery slope in America, but depending on how some elections go, that train could start leaving the station. But look at Venezuela as a cautionary tale.
Because let's take a little back step. What's happening in Venezuela, from what I understand, was they've had a vote. And some guy lost, but he said, I didn't lose.
Yeah, the president.
So the president's like, I didn't lose. And then when the time came for the replacement time, they didn't replace him. The old president was like, no, I'm staying here for what was his reasoning? Do you know? Do you know anything like that? Because I don't. That's all I really understood about a
variation of the thing that every time. Was it Kim Jong-un, or I can't remember if it's China or our favorite North Korean whack job, but every time there's an election, it's Kim Jong-un. He wins with 100% of the vote. Not only 100%, no one votes against him, but no one doesn't vote. They say there are 1 billion people eligible to vote. Well, he gets 1 billion yay votes. So it's a variation of that. Well, of course, there must have been fraud, because of course I would have won, because I'm the president. Everyone loves me. So therefore, and that's the whole thing. That's why I just laugh every time there's election fraud. It's for someone in power using that, or using it to get someone out of power. The cry, if there are safeguards in place, especially in America. But Venezuela, when you have a despot.
So when did that happen then? When did the vote take place? Like a year ago?
Oh yeah, relatively recently.
Okay. And then basically no one ever did anything about it. And then finally the political system was inner workings of the duly elected president was like, I got enough people on my side to make a coup.
Right. And this is where, not even to, I guess technically it is a coup, because if you're in power, you refuse to cede power. I guess that counts as
somebody
a coup.
Basically said, no, this is what, someone basically summed it up. It's not a coup. It's a democratic force of something
retention of power. And unfortunately, with foreign policy and high-level politics, I'm talking like nation-building politics, not healthcare or something like that, but stuff that can actually change the world. Unfortunately, sometimes you have to let things play out more. People might be saying, well, why aren't we helping Venezuela? Because it hasn't reached the tipping point. If we went into Venezuela right now to try to help, or if the UN did, it could probably cause more harm than good because the man's still in power. And it's like the Red Cross trying to give food supplies to the Somalians. If you ever saw like Black Hawk Down, well, what happened? It's, the bad guys just took all the food. Every food shipment that came in, they just grabbed it and still used starvation. So you got to wait till the government itself is about to crumble, where there's rebellion about to happen or in the midst of rebellion, and that's when you can come in and help save the day. And that's the high level politicking that needs to happen. Unfortunately, in a perfect world, we'd love to go and save the day and be the hero, but sometimes we got to let Venezuela hit rock bottom in order for them to say we need help turn around, or else our troops are the ones getting shot by the people because they're the scapegoat.
It'd be neat to see, because one thing is with technology, I wonder the timeline of when it started. What are people doing? Is the truth getting out there in the sense of reports, news, videos?
Not out there because there's no power.
So
they have no phones, no computers, no TVs.
Where's Zuckerberg? See, Zuckerberg, you need to fly your drones over there and drop off some batteries.
Right.
And then see what really happens over there.
Right. By extension, that's it sounds really funny. It's kind of a subject change and certainly not political. More and more people are going back to antennas to bypass the whole, because at first it was cable and I'm going to go streaming. But now think about it. There's so many different streaming services because they're getting particular. Disney ABC has theirs, Fox will have theirs, so forth and so on. That pretty soon, even with streaming, you're going to be paying the same amount of money. So people are going back to...
No, when Disney Plus comes out, everyone's just going to do that. And
nothing else.
Sorry.
I really had a problem even though it happened during the Obama administration, it was actually signed into effect under the Bush administration. So this is like a bipartisan screw up in my opinion. To make TV go digital. They said, well, we need the analog channels of TV for like first responders. They didn't. There are plenty of wavelengths. Because in the old days, you could have a battery-powered TV. If a storm was coming, you could be hunkered down, and even a crank TV, you could watch it. But now now you have to have a digital converter. You have to have a cable service provider, a satellite service provider, or digital power, to watch TV. And I always had a substantial problem with that. It's like we make every radio now where you can't just buy a radio and turn it on with the antenna.
Well, you could argue that there's a marketplace decision on that one, but you can also say when it comes down to getting the national emergencies, what systems do they have in place? That's the scary thing, kind of like the missile deal in Hawaii. What does the government really have power over? Because like those streaming services and things, I guarantee you there's going to be a back door where they could just take over whatever TV you're doing, whatever streaming service you're doing, and just saying...
Oh, the emergency alert system, EAS, used to be the EBS, will, if the missiles start flying for real or, if storms come, and believe me, no matter what channel you're watching, it'll come in, plus on your phone. But there's no analog backup except for radio. That a radio is the only self-contained media receiver left that doesn't need an outside receiving source. Now, the outside transmitting source has to be, whoever's broadcasting needs to be up. But to receive a broadcast, I just need an antenna. I don't need cable service. I don't need to pay extra. And so radio is where it's at because, say we get the text messages like they did in Hawaii. Well, if cell towers are down, you don't get a text message. So all that's left to use radio. If your cable goes out, especially in a storm, which always cracks me up, we're going to move from analog to digital on TV. So we'll let you know when storms are coming on your digital TV. Your power is the first thing that gets knocked out in the storm.
Well, it sounds like we just need to build bunkers and generators and all that kind of stuff. Sorry,
generators don't hurt.
Sorry, Sean. Okay. Well, did you go see Endgame?
I have not seen Endgame yet, but do you know what I did do? This is going to sound funny. I got so sick of people. I must have just the whole mess. And instead of avoiding it, because people are just people getting beaten up over this. And you're seeing there's some NFL player who just flat out tweeted something, a significant spoiler. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. And now, because he's up for the draft.
No,
And
I
people
see-
are like, get rid of his contract.
No, I seriously saw like 2 or 3 reports of people fighting.
Yeah.
Like the Domino's delivery. Did you see that Domino's delivery driver fought his coworker because his coworker said
Overseas,
something?
this guy came out of the cinema and just started yelling out the ending, and he got
Snape kills
just
Dumbledore.
exactly, the guy just not beaten out of him.
What a classic video.
Right.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Where they're outside Barnes and Noble or something like that, and there's like a line of 300 people. Snape kills Dumbledore.
Well, what I did, I went to what is called the moviespoiler.com. And
Is that a real website?
It is a real website. And what they do is they tell you, if you come to this website, things will be spoiled.
It's in the URL.
Right. But they tell you, if any movie, do not blame us because we will tell you everything. And so I read the plot for Endgame.
Okay, so you ruined it
So
for
that-
yourself? Okay.
Because I can enjoy it now. Believe me, I knew by the time I watched Infinity War, I knew.
Well, no one can
half of-
judge someone else about how they enjoy their own
I
content,
can
so who
sit
cares?
back and enjoy, but you know what? When I saw Infinity War, I knew half the people are going to end up in dust because of all the memes.
See, if
I
I
still
was,
enjoyed the movie.
If I was in charge of their little universe when they make this stuff, I wouldn't have announced any other movies after Endgame. So you're going into Endgame thinking like, oh, the series is over.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Spider-Man. There's no Black Widow. There's nothing. So you're seeing Endgame. You're like, man, what's really going to happen to these characters? And when the fruition comes at the end, the end game or the end credit scene is, oh, hey, in 2 months, Spider-Man's coming out. And people would freak because they'd be like, whoa, wait, in 2 months? Are you serious? That's awesome. And then they go see Spider-Man and then continue on to the world.
But see, for instance, like with Spider-Man, they may move it from Peter Parker to Miles Morales, or they could be a prequel. So
Well, no, because they already advertising Spider-Man.
Tom Holland.
Or no, yeah, whatever. They already started advertising it like 4 months before Endgame.
But
So it's like you knew he was going to come back somehow.
unless it's different Spider-Man or a
No,
prequel.
they wouldn't do that.
No, they could.
No, because the timeline.
But timeline.
No,
Time travel.
No, in the show, it shows them after all the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like clearly after Endgame. So that's why I was
Okay,
like,
I got you.
why would you even...
But so,
Where's the suspense
folks,
there?
you're-
That's why the Game of Thrones people are so smart. Because they film like false scenes. So those
in the old days, it used to be false
detectives,
scripts, right?
they'd be like, oh, look at these pictures. They're seen together in this country. Can you believe it? And then like you never see like, oh, that totally threw us off. And the Game of Thrones folks are doing it right. Because people are freaking out about that show. I think more than so than Endgame.
And I've only got one. Now, I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I will eventually one day. I know of one major spoiler because I'm not trying to avoid it. But for the most part, people are not spoiling Game of Thrones. You know, like, OMG, I hear about how dark the episode was. I know that one character kills another character, and it was like a big shock. But people aren't as... There's only a certain class of poopy head who's giving away the spoilers. And so people you are listening to and looking at, if you see us on Facebook or YouTube,
He's a booby head.
I know everything that happens in Endgame. The post-credit scene, the mid-credit scene, the ending, who dies, who lives, I know it all. The last thing I want to do is spoil it for anyone, but I am enjoying knowing what I know, and may as well just watch the movie, seeing everyone else try to say, I want to say this, but I can't say this. And even that, it's like the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Just mentioning something changes the perception of it. Meaning, well, I don't want to say anything about I don't want to spoil the ending, but OMG. Well, now you know that the ending has an OMG moment. So it's been spoiled in some way, shape, or form. That's why I just said screw it. And I went to movie
Well, but
spoiler
when it
and I
came
read
to books and stuff, because like Harry Potter was very similar.
That's why people
because-
would line up at Barnes & Noble to grab that midnight copy and stay up all night reading.
Yeah.
That's what we did.
Well, because one thing I was thinking about was the guy who wrote the Game of Thrones, which I don't think it's
George
I don't think
R.R.
it's even
Martin.
called a Game of Thrones. I think it's called something different.
Yeah, it's like the Game
But
of Thrones saga or
People
something.
were saying online, oh, the books can be different from the show because now they're at that point where the books haven't been released that is currently being viewed on HBO.
And you found that with Walking Dead. You found that with Harry Potter.
So he could literally just go 180 on a lot of the decisions the deal or the producers or whoever that makes the show, TV show, and then that. I mean, like,
And that's why I like the Walking Dead TV series because
they're doing whatever they want.
Well, but they pay homage to significant events. Or they'll have like a death sequence, but different people. So the sequence happens, but different people die.
Well, one thing that it always happens with series that if whoever weren't the original creators, they seem to deter from the source material of the characters and things like that. And it really bothers me sometimes on certain shows. But then it's like for example, learning more about the Game of Thrones and then the books. It's just kind of like, man, what happened? Like, I know they're trying to get the series wrapped up. I know there's a lot of money involved. But it's kind of like, why cheapen the character so bad just to make it good for TV?
I get that.
Like for example, what kind of blew my mind was the Night King was never written in the books originally, and I was like, and they created it for the HBO. I could be mistaken by that, but from what I understand, he was not in the books. And I'm like, isn't that the whole plot of the show? Is this one character winter is coming and he's
But
coming?
I like that it's almost alternative universe. Again, with Walking Dead, the main character now is Norman Reedus' character.
And he's not even
Daryl.
really in the
He's
comic.
not in the comic book. He was invented for the TV series, and now he's Norman Reedus is the show. Douglas Adams, who did the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is famous for that. Hitchhiker's Guide had a radio series, a TV series, a movie, and several books, and each one ends differently. And a record series, too. And because I had them all. Each one ends differently. Each one, and so it's like alternate universe. Same thing with Arthur C. Clarke and the 2001 saga, 2001, 2010, 3001. They're different, because like the movie came out for 2010, but after that, Clarke wrote his own version of 2010, which was significantly different. And he even said, pretend it's an alternate universe. And so I like that I know I can tune in, knowing what happens in the comic book of Walking Dead, I can tune in the TV series and still be surprised. Still be engaged.
Well, what mediums do you think work that way? Like, I know books and comics can certainly be easier to shift. But to me, like in TV, and people have expectation when it comes to that stuff.
They do have a high expectation, and I credit Peter Jackson with the Lord of the Rings trilogy, because that was, I think, the first time that we had as grand an adaptation of the books. Because remember, Lord of the Rings, there's the one point where the Beatles wanted to do a cartoon version of it, where, Ringo was Frodo. Ralph Bakshi did the best he could with his cartoon version. Rankin Bass really did bad, but, they tried. We're going to do our best. Jackson's like, you know what? We're going to spend countless millions of dollars and spend 10 years of shooting to make this.
I think they only shot for like a year.
No, the whole series? No.
Yeah, they did it all back to back to back.
Yeah, over, I believe it was 8 years. Because they were still filming as the movies were coming out. So anyhow,
I'm pretty sure it was like a year and like 3 months.
No, there's
it's 438 days.
For principal shooting, or
they
for
shot
all the movies?
Yeah, for all the trilogy. Principal photography for Lord of the Rings film trilogy conducted in New Zealand for 438 days.
Then it must have been the post. It must have been something happened 8 years. So I believe it would have been the editing and the post production. But before Jackson, nothing had been so true to the source material as possible. And I think then Rowling, whoever did the Harry Potter movies, because they were different directors, did that too. So movies are actual, and same thing with the superheroes. In the old days, a movie would be dumbed down to the audience. Think about every superhero movie we had from back in the 70s. I think before Tim Burton's Batman with Michael Keaton, they were silly. They were just, listen, we're going for comic book geeks. Let's get a large-chested woman and a good-looking guy and put on him a bad costume and do a Roger Corman Fantastic Four. Now, hundreds of millions were spent on Avengers, but it brought in billions because it doesn't disappoint. Here's the thing about Endgame. No one, to my knowledge, has expressed disappointment, saying this was not worth the wait.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I've read that was disappointing was folks who really care about the storyline, because what they chose to do a silly concept that ruins series because you're time traveling. And it's like, if you start time traveling in things, you're going to start opening up the
Well, as a man who wrote a novel about time travel, I hate when time travel is abused. I'm going to go back 10 minutes. Screw that. I'm going back 20 years and winning the lottery. You know, as long as you treat time travel with respect, it can be an effective plot point.
Yeah.
And from what I hear and from what I read, Endgame
maybe
handles that.
You listen to Mornings Lone Star, irlonestar.com. Just to give everyone an update, we are done for the week, but we will be back next week. If you want to be a guest on the show, please contact us. So we had irlonestar.com/MWLS. We are changing to our podcast format, and we will still be broadcasting live on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1.
Like our page,
And,
the Facebook page. That way you'll know when we come on.
Yeah, that's right. And folks, we want to say a special thanks to our partners who help put on the show. We have BeanPunk Coffee in Montgomery and Conroe. We have C3 Creative Content Creations and Clean Sweep Office Cleaning. We will be back sooner than later, so check us out on our Facebook, Mornings Lone Star, and our website, irlonestar.com/MWLS.